I forgot that it's Cole Bradley's our guest. So. Good movies are bad movies are good movies in this parallel dimension of Cole Bradley.
I will say this, and I want to go on the record. It is October 23rd, 2022. We're about 5 months out. I just want to go on the record here. Everyone who thinks Brendan Fraser is winning an Oscar this year probably needs to be in an assisted living home because they probably cannot take care of their own faculties.
Wow.
It is not happening.
And the Oscar goes to Brendan Fraser. The Whale.
Thank God Brendan Fraser is back. It's a Brendan Fraser resurrection at very fantasy Criterion Collection. Give us Monkey Ball and it's Seal Man 2. Give us George and Jungle in the MCU. And once you sweep the Oscars, we'll be waiting for you to finally dust off that old bloody suit.
I started in this business 30 years ago, and things, they didn't come easily to me, but there was a facility that I didn't appreciate at the time until it stopped. And I just want to say thank you for this acknowledgement, because it couldn't be done without my cast. It's been like I've been on a diving expedition on the bottom of the ocean, and the air on the line to the surface is on a launch being watched over by some people in my life, like my sons Holden and Leland and Griffin. I love you, Griffey. My manager, Joanne Colonna, Jennifer Plant, and my best first mate, Jeannie. Thank you again, each one and all. I'm so grateful to you. Good night.
Folks,
he's back.
He's fucking back.
Welcome, folks, to this episode of Travolting Presents The Fraser's Edge. Thank you so much for listening last week to our episode on The Quiet American. I know at the end we promised you an episode on Dickie Roberts, former child star. But you're not going to get that episode for 2 more weeks.
Yeah.
Some things came up that we have to address.
Couple things.
We'll talk about the next one at the end of the episode.
Yeah.
But the first thing we had to address, folks, Brendan Fraser won an Oscar. He won Best Actor in a leading role.
Oscar.
For Best Actor.
The 95th Annual
in a leading role.
Academy Awards.
Hosted by Jimmy Kimmel.
Again,
for the third time. He did pretty well this time. Or at least at the beginning. His opening speech is pretty good. Or his monologue, whatever the fuck you want to call it. But folks, our guy won.
He won.
Cole Bradley was proven incorrect.
He was.
Yeah, as someone commented on our YouTube, who seemingly, I'm going to shout it out because I actually presume he's listening to this. Oh, God. Travolting. Oh, God. What's that? Oh, my God. What was that? Darkly Noon. As, what's his name? I'm going to shout him out. Louis Taurus, who posted immediately after Brendan won, to the dude with the annoying voice, 410 to 422. Cole Bradley. A little rude to Cole.
little rude to Cole.
Look who's laughing now. I waited many months for this moment. Shout out to you for listening to that episode, getting so enraged. You marked the time down and then waited until the fateful day to make a comment.
I just liked his comment.
I liked it too. But yeah, thank you to him.
Cole doesn't have an annoying voice.
No, I love Cole. Cole, I love you for listening.
He doesn't have an annoying voice, and Cole, you are a very valued guest who we love having on the show. We're going to have you many, many more times on the show. I love getting in heated arguments with him.
Yes.
This is no shade to Cole Bradley.
Yes.
I know
No, it's a little shade to Cole Bradley.
It's a little shade to Cole Bradley.
Yeah.
It's our intro, but...
Yeah. We started this with a open slam of him guessing this incorrectly. Anyway, that's enough about Cole. I want to talk about Brendan.
Yeah,
I want to talk about him winning.
Yeah.
I want to talk about the Oscars. This is our Oscars episode. Because, folks, it's not just Brendan we're talking about today. We got to talk about John.
John Travolta's there.
He was present. We're going to talk about him in a little bit.
Yeah.
But first, Brendan Fraser. Nominated for The Whale, a movie we are not going to talk about today.
We're not going to talk about it.
We're just going to talk about him winning.
Yes.
So Stuart, you and I FaceTimed when this category was getting read out, Best Actor.
Correct.
It was presented by who presented it?
It was
Nicole Kidman. Is it Nicole Kidman?
Thought it was Nicole Kidman and
it was Jessica Chastain and Ariana DeBose, because they did the 2 awards to. Oh no, Halle Berry and Jessica Chastain, because they did Best Actor and Best Actress together. And obviously, what's his name was not available to. Will Smith was not available to give out the Best Actress award.
Right.
So the 2 of them, and Jessica Chastain was the one who got to read it.
Yeah.
It was. Oh no, Halle. Oh my God, I'm an idiot. Halle Berry was the one who got to read it.
Yeah.
Which is just really exciting.
Yeah. And they read the awards. They said Brendan Fraser's name,
and we lost our shit.
We
tried to record our FaceTime.
I wasn't going to mention that to the audience.
Oh no, I was just going to let them know that we tried and it did not work.
Yeah.
Because you can't record and FaceTime at the same time. We should have realized this. I should have realized this, but
we should have somebody film us FaceTiming.
If you guys want a silent video of us getting really excited, we can send that to you.
Yeah.
But no, Brendan, his name was called, and he immediately looked choked up, and we lost our mind. We got a little choked up. You know what I mean?
I got a little choked up.
We were really excited for him.
Yeah.
I have my qualms with the movie, but
we're not going to talk about
think it's indisputable that he was phenomenal in that movie.
And
that this is a award that was deserved for more than just the performance.
Yes.
Because the Oscars love a narrative, and it's been the year of the Brendan comeback.
Yeah.
Which, we were very fortuitous in our show that we picked Brendan Fraser kind of on the cusp of this.
Yeah.
But before it really took off.
The Whale had not been released yet.
Yeah, we knew about The Whale getting made, but we hadn't followed it that much.
Yeah.
We picked Brendan because, I think the same reason a lot of people picked Brendan, probably the same reason that Darren Aronofsky picked him for the movie is, we have a lot of fond memories of him from our childhood.
Mm-hmm.
We were looking for someone whose career looked like it might be on an upswing.
Yeah.
And we went with Brendan, and it really panned out for us.
Yeah, it did.
It panned out for him too, obviously.
Yeah, so when Jeff, when you told me we have to do an Oscars episode for this, I knew that didn't mean a Whale Part 1 episode.
Yes.
So I know we're not going to talk about the Whale. But with that, I wanted to take somewhat of a look at the other nominees.
Yeah.
I will be honest and say I didn't see Paul Mescal in After Sun, nor did I see Bill Nye in Living.
Yeah, those are the 2 I missed out on, After Sun and Living as well.
Yes.
I will get around to them someday.
I've heard After Sun's really good.
Yeah, Becca loved After Sun.
Living, I've heard it's it's for a specific audience.
Yeah.
But I watched The Banshees of Inisherin.
Yes.
Did I say it right?
Yes.
That was a joke in the Oscars. People keep saying Inisherin, but it's Inisherin.
Yeah, Inisherin.
And I also watched Austin Butler as Elvis.
Hobo. Oh, how you doing? It's me, man.
I liked Colin Farrell's performance.
Yeah.
He's really good in that movie. Same with Brendan Gleeson.
Yeah.
They're both just phenomenal in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
I personally liked Brendan Gleeson's performance more than Colin Farrell, but Colin Farrell is doing a really nice job. And I think a lot early Oscar talks were favored in Colin Farrell, I believe.
Yeah, and the narrative had kind of shifted to favoring Austin Butler near the end.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I think we might have had one of the top 5 moments in human history had Austin Butler won and then dropped the accent for his acceptance speech. Because as we all know, the narrative has been he's been keeping the Elvis voice since the movie. And impressed towards he's talking like this, he's coming around talking like this. I think it would have been incredible if he won.
Is that real?
It's a thing he's doing.
He's actually doing that?
Yes.
Because I haven't seen any interviews.
No, it's a thing.
Movie.
It's a thing he's doing. You watch any press for Elvis or anything like him on a talk show. Hey, how you doing? It's me. I'm Austin Butler. I was in the motion picture Elvis. He's been doing it. I think it would have been incredible if he went up to accept the award for Best Actor. He's like, "Oh, thank you very much to the Academy for," and you're like, "Whoa!" That's when he drops it.
That would have been pretty funny.
But no,
actually.
he's phenomenal in that movie. Colin Farrell's phenomenal in that. Also, I want to send a quick olive branch to Cole Bradley.
Yeah.
If you are interested in more of his sizzling hot takes, you can check out his podcast that he's recently launched called Above the Line, about Colin Farrell.
Yeah.
So we were kind of beefing over which of our guys was going to win.
Because I know he wanted Colin Farrell to win.
Yeah.
But I think his whole thing with Colin Farrell winning is a very similar
trajectory to Brendan.
It's very much like, is this like his best performance he's ever done? No. But has he done a lot of like Oscar-worthy performances that he's in due for one?
Yeah.
That's kind of, I think, what the conversation was for Colin Farrell. That it's like, it's his turn.
Yeah, it's his turn.
Which is like, it's always a funny thing when it comes to like Oscar votes and picks and things like that. Where it's like
the Jamie Lee Curtis one. We're like, she's not the best part of it. I mean, she's great in Everything Everywhere, but that's not the best part.
Right. That one is, it's her turn.
Yeah, she's never been nominated before.
Yeah.
And she's due for a win.
Yeah. Which I like in full.
In part.
Yeah, it's great. I think but yeah, like I liked Colin Farrell, Banshees of Inisherin. Elvis, I didn't.
Elvis is great because every scene is him coming out and being like, I'm Elvis, I'm just here to help the world and help the country. And then Tom Hanks like creeps in from the shadows like, yes, and I will put poison in your drink. Yes. Take the heroin. Like injects him in the arm.
Yeah.
You ever watched what the guy actually sounds like?
No.
Watch a video of what Colonel Tom Parker actually sounds like. I'm going to bring it up right now just so you can hear what Colonel Tom Parker actually sounds like.
And he doesn't actually sound like that? Not remotely close?
Here's Colonel Tom Parker in real life.
Because Tom Hanks doing full-on Dr. Evil.
Yeah, he sounds like fucking Doc.
We're going to make lots of snow with the Elvis.
Here's what this man sounds like.
They had artists. They put them on all the shows, talk shows for free. And they had a hard time getting a job after that.
So you thought it was just a band?
That's what that guy sounds like.
I mean, like, I can see why, like, I can understand, like, Tom Hanks is just doing, like, an exaggerated version.
Yes, he's doing the Dr. Evil version of that.
Yeah. Because, like, it's not far off, but it's not that. Not that at all. But the movie in general, I just wasn't, like, head over heels over. Now, we're not going to talk about The Whale, but I think we can say that, like, you and I have
differing apart.
We have differing opinions.
That'll be a fun episode when we get to it.
Well, and I say I do need to watch it again.
Yeah.
I need to watch it a second time, which that'd be like one of the first I'll ever say about a Darren Aronofsky movie.
Yeah.
But
Brendan, you know, it's kind of the capstone to his comeback.
Yeah. And it in the role itself capsulizes like sort of part of the struggles
falling
that
down and getting back in.
Him as a person has been going through.
Yeah.
And so I think exactly what you said, it fit the narrative to a T. It just felt so perfect for like Fraser to like get this like
for
nice,
a meteoric comeback.
Yeah. You want to talk about his speech?
I do want to talk about his speech. What did you think of his speech? I thought it was lovely.
I thought it was lovely.
The thing I like about his speech is that he clearly wrote a funny speech with a lot of whale puns.
Yeah.
Because like I have it right here that I'm going to bring up. Because like he wrote his speech basically started. Thank you. So this is what the multiverse looks like. Oh my goodness. I think the economy. Yada yada yada. I'm grateful for Darren Aronofsky for throwing me a creative lifeline and hauling me aboard the good ship, The Whale. This was written by Samuel Hunter, who is our lighthouse. You laid your whale-sized hearts so bare that we could see into your souls. And then he's like, I want to tell you that only whales can swim at the depth of the talon of Hong Chow. He like clearly wrote this full like whale joke-y speech.
Yeah.
And then got so nervous that he kind of like veered off of it. And got really emotional, but he was still saying all the whale puns.
Yeah.
So it was charming. It was incredibly charming to see him like that he put the thought into this speech and like wrote all these puns and just got so earnest and emotional that he couldn't stick with the bit.
Yeah, the sheer shock of him winning was like, oh God.
Yeah.
And maybe like he didn't think he was going to win.
I would imagine he was clearly prepared to win, but he didn't. I don't think he thought he was going to win. I think he was hopeful, but
well, and I told you this, Jeff, but like a lot of where my Oscar ballots go to, I always look at the
SAG Awards,
the DGA Awards, the Writers Guild Awards, the Producers Guild Awards, like, because a lot of those folks are the same voters.
Yeah.
But they're, instead of voting in their own specific pool, they're all voting together. So you get DGA folks voting for Best Actor, you get writers voting for Best Picture.
Yeah.
Like, whereas it's different in those particular awards, but because they're the same writers, it's like when you see who the winners of those awards are, it takes like a percentage. So Fraser won the SAG award for Best Actor in Leading Role.
Yes.
And I think they said like whoever wins that award automatically gets like a 70% chance on winning Best Actor. So he's a front runner.
Yeah.
And I think it would have been a little shocking if he wasn't picked. If he wasn't, I think it would have either been Austin Butler or Colin Farrell.
Bill Nighy and Paul Mescal were, this is no discredit to the performances, but they were in the quote unquote happy to be here category.
Yeah, exactly. I think so too.
It's like the nomination is a sign of respect to them because it's both their first nominations.
Yeah. Bill Nighy first.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's his first nomination.
Yeah.
But no, that's his speech was lovely, and I was just really happy for him, and there's a reason we wanted to do this episode just to acknowledge that.
Yeah, and
that he's come an incredibly long way from the football player in Child of Darkness, Child of Light, to
the sailor
on the Oscar stage.
Yeah, and I think it's so poetic with him and Ke Huy Quan. Winning Best Supporting Actor.
Both Encino Man alums.
Yeah, both Encino Man alums,
Yeah.
which means Pauly Shore
is due.
Well, I don't think it's due, but I want to say it's like Pauly Shore's Encino Man has 2 Oscar winners in it.
Yes.
Think about that.
The Weasel.
He has 2. The Weasel.
It's time for a gritty reboot of The Weasel. Like, he brings, it's just a movie called The Weasel, and it's, him as his Weasel character, but, he's, strung out and, has to fight his way back to the top.
Yeah.
It's like Joker, but with Pauly Shore as the Weasel. It'll probably be better than Joker, honestly.
Remind me to ask you something off the air about Pauly Shore in another episode we're going to cover so soon.
Oh, God.
Yeah. But, yeah, I don't know. You also John Travolta.
Yes.
I don't know if we were.
do we think? There's only so much we can say about Fraser winning.
Yeah, he won. It was fantastic. He had a good speech.
Yeah.
And
round of applause.
Round of applause
to Brendan Fraser, guys,
for our dude.
Yeah.
It's Fraser. And then the rest of the cast winnings go to Everywhere All at Once.
Yes, all 3 of the others went to Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yeah, he's the only non-Everywhere All at Once actor to win this year.
Yes, it is.
But both A24.
Mm-hmm.
A24 this year.
Big winners this year.
Whoa. Dude. They here's something someone said to me. It's like, this is always a conversation that comes with Oscars right afterwards, and it usually comes from a pessimistic mindset. But it does make me think what movies did come out this year, really? Because Top Gun was mentioned a lot. All Quiet on the Western Front was mentioned a lot.
Did you watch the whole ceremony?
No.
All Quiet on the Western Front had for basically it's a 4-hour show, I'd say.
Yeah.
The middle hour and a half, it was all the technical awards.
And All Quiet
swept.
Yeah.
And it was the most annoying thing of all time because when a movie wins, they play a snippet of the score. And All Quiet. Yeah, they use the and it's the middle 90 minutes of the Oscars were just. And this award goes to I was so fucking sick of that movie.
Have you seen it?
I like All Quiet. I watched all the Best Picture nominees this year.
Okay.
I liked All Quiet on the Western Front.
Yeah.
My biggest issue with it was the score. And so I was already sick of it. And when we got to the Best Original Score category, I'm like, all right, at least it won't win this. And we can give it to one of these other guys. All Quiet on the I was like, God fucking damn it.
Oh my God. Yeah, I did.
The second All Quiet stopped winning awards, I was so happy because we could like hear.
Once
other
it got
things.
into like writing and acting.
Yeah, once
and...
we got into those things and like women talking won Best Adapted Screenplay, that was lovely.
Yeah,
Everything Everywhere won Best Original Screenplay, editing.
Yeah,
Avatar got Best Visual Effects.
I know you fucking love that.
Oh my God, when the show started with the Avatar, like because it's so it was the first one that they had to introduce, and you start. That's my impression of the Avatar chant. But no, that was really thrilling to me as a person who's seen Avatar: The Way of Water 8 times in theaters.
For a total of
25 hours and 36 minutes. Folks, that is a true story. It was a bit I was really committed to, and I finished it last weekend, right before the Oscars.
I'm happy for you.
Yes.
Hopefully we can put this Avatar bit to rest
well,
now.
when we do our show called Talkin' Tar.
We're not doing
It's
that.
like apostrophe tar.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
It's not happening. I'm squashing that right now.
Anyway, yeah, I think
Top Gun won Best Sound.
It did, didn't it?
It did.
Top Gun,
yeah.
A good movie.
Yeah.
So remember when we saw Top Gun together?
I do.
I was like, it's such a Stuart movie, and it really was.
It was.
Yeah.
I had a good time.
Yeah.
It was decent.
Yeah. Do we want to talk about John?
Yeah, let's talk about John. I mean, not a lot to talk about here. So what we should say is when they announce like all the announcers, they don't say what they're for.
Yes.
So whenever I see John Travolta for an Oscars announcing, my mind immediately goes to Best Original Song or Best Original Score or some musically adept awards.
You know how I learned he was presenting this year?
How?
I got a text from Cole Bradley, a former guest of the show, in all caps that said, Travolta again, with 8 question marks after it. Because this is now the 4th time in the past decade he's presented, and all of them have been fucking weird.
Well, he has a contract deal or something with them.
The first one was Adele Dazeem in 2014. Then they brought him back the next year as like the apology tour where it was him and Idina Menzel. And they presented them, and he made jokes about the names.
Yeah.
And then he came out last year for like the Pulp Fiction 25th anniversary thing.
Yeah. But what was he announcing?
Oh, it was like Pulp Fiction 30th anniversary. I can't remember. But it was him, Uma Thurman, and Sam Jackson. They presented some award together. I can't remember which one.
Was it like a lifetime achievement or something like that?
No, it was something. It was like a real thing. It was just like it was the 30th anniversary of Pulp Fiction, so the 3 of them came out.
Okay.
And I remember he did the dance, and it was really weird. Like on the stage, and Sam Jackson trying to be serious. He's like, I'm just feeling it. And then they brought it back again this year. And so when we saw, like, I got that text that Travolta again.
And then we find out that he's actually introducing the In Memoriam section.
I kind of figured that might be the case.
Yeah?
Because I was like, what could they possibly be giving him? And I was like, oh.
Olivia Newton-John passed away.
And Kirstie Alley both passed away this year,
both
who were 2 of his biggest co-stars.
Yeah.
And I do want to talk about Travolta's, speech. It was very tender.
It was very tender and very heartfelt.
Yeah.
Like, one thing that I will always say about John Travolta is the man is not a good actor.
Mm.
And that's how you know his intro
Yeah.
was genuine. Because I don't think he could have acted that.
Yeah.
I think he
got choked up on stage.
He got choked up on stage. Yeah,
it was nice to see emotion from him again.
Yeah,
he's kind of been a robot recently.
He absolutely has been.
Also, in our episode next week, we're going to talk about how he displayed emotion in that movie as well, which we'll talk about shortly. But no, it was nice to see. It was heartfelt. I got myself a little choked up when he's like, he said these words. They've touched our hearts, they made us smile, and they become dear friends who we will always remain hopelessly devoted to. He's hopelessly devoted to you. And that was really nice.
That was really nice.
I was a tad bit nervous that he was going to sing for the In Memoriam. But no, they introduced Lenny Kravitz, who performed.
Would him singing have been that bad? Or
no, I think he would have been fine. I just thought it would have been
too much.
Kind of a strange choice.
Yeah.
But they left it to Lenny Kravitz.
Yeah. Well, Travolta's had a rough few years, man.
Yeah, he is nothing if not someone who's been through a lot of loss.
Yeah.
And, he's probably given too many eulogies in his life.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he's probably...
Absolutely.
And that has made him good at it, which is why he was good at the Oscars, at the awards.
Yeah.
But it is it's a good reminder that our guy is still out there, and he does have, his emotions.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
I
thought it was important we talk about both of our guys today.
Yeah, definitely.
Both of them were there. It was a big Oscars for Travolta.
It was a big Oscars for us. And I was just say, like, it's so strange to think, like, when we started with Travolta, like, we never had any hope of any kind that there was going to be like some sort of a comeback for like that we're now experiencing with Fraser. Yeah. But it's interesting that it's not that we're covering an actor who's like reached the end.
Yeah.
And I say reach the end in a very metaphorical sense. I don't mean like they've died. I don't mean like they've retired. Travolta hasn't retired and he's still kicking. Like, he's got more movies in the tank still. And who knows? Who's to say, like, someone doesn't find Travolta like Aronofsky found Fraser, and it's like, I'm going to make this guy the next Oscar winner because, like, I have a movie that's, like, perfect for him. Maybe he's just got a few more years to wait until we get to that moment. And maybe in a few years' time, we'll be hosting another Oscars episode, but this time it's Fraser announcing and Travolta winning.
I'm not going to say confident.
No, of course not.
I am hopeful that there's a Travolta comeback coming. And I think the winds are starting to turn in that direction.
Yeah.
I do have a rumor that I'll tell you off mic.
Yeah.
But,
all these off mic things.
Yeah, the movie that we're talking about next week, which I'll just say now, we're going to be talking about the movie Die Hard next week.
Yeah.
We'll get into why that's a movie and why we're covering it in that episode. But I'm going to say this now, but it's maybe Travolta's best performance in a decade? In a movie?
In a movie. Good clarification there.
It's maybe a lower tier movie, but
I would agree.
Displaying like some emotions we haven't seen from him in a while.
I would agree. Best performance in a movie in a decade.
Yeah.
In a movie.
Yes. And so that kind of gives me a little bit of hope that maybe he's starting to figure some things out.
Yeah.
About what his star value is nowadays.
Yeah.
But even more so than excitement for Travolta, I'm just excited what opportunities this opens for Brendan Fraser. And what we're gonna be covering,
because we already know we're gonna get Killers of the Flower Moon coming up.
It's crazy. It might time out with us that we get to cover Killers of the Flower Moon when it's in theaters.
Yeah,
because we're currently scheduled to have that episode on October 20th. It all depends when the movie itself comes out.
Sorry, I just love pulling up Fraser's IMDb, going under awards and seeing Oscar winner for best performance by an actor in a leading role.
Already Fraser has 2 more movies in the can. Killers of the Flower Moon, a Martin Scorsese vehicle, or movie. He has Brothers, which I don't know too much about. But it I think it's a Peter Dinklage
The Disappearance of Batgirl.
Yes, Batgirl, a movie that may leak online in time for us to cover it. Who knows?
Behind the Curtain of Night.
Behind the Curtain of Night,
which is
I believe that just like doesn't exist. I think I looked into it and it's like not a real thing.
Oh, okay. And then The Legend of William Tell.
These are all movies that like I'm not putting them on the roster until they like actually become a thing.
So it's just Killers of the Flower Moon and Brothers?
Yeah.
Okay.
Once they become like a thing, I'll put it on, because like right after he wins an Oscar is when you're going to start hearing like Fraser is attached to this movie, and like one of them will happen.
Yeah.
But I'm excited where his career goes from here.
Me too.
I can't wait to follow it as we continue. It's going to be an exhilarating proposition for us.
Yeah. Yeah.
Stuart, do you have anything else to say about the Oscars?
No,
with our guys?
I don't, but it was a lovely, lovely experience. I was sitting at home, my hometown in Indiana, watching this with my girlfriend, and we both had. She was really, really, really rooting for Michelle Yeoh.
Yes.
For Best Actress, and so
that was also a lovely moment.
Yeah, she cried during Michelle Yeoh's acceptance speech. I cried during Brendan Fraser's acceptance speech. Like it was just an overall nice, lovely night. And then to cap it off with Harrison Ford.
Oh my God, this was a tremendous Oscar ceremony, especially for me.
Harrison Ford.
Both our guys were there, and then he comes like, the hot dog movie won. But no,
Avatar, Way
Harrison
of
Ford
Water.
would be my white whale for us to cover on this show, and that's why I'm kind of resisting it.
Yeah, I think we should not cover Harrison Ford for a while.
I think maybe down the line it's a possibility. That's a career that I can actually just like do off the top of my head. I can just list his movies and what happens between them off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Which is why maybe we'll hold off for a little bit. But that was exhilarating.
Yeah.
Everything Everywhere All at Once. They gave lovely speeches, everyone on that crew and cast.
Yeah.
Ke Huy Quan. We mentioned him.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
Very, very, very well deserved. And like again, he's another one where like I saw some of the movies, but not all of them. But I recently watched. Actually, the only one I haven't seen is Brian Tyree Henry in Causeway. I've seen every other performance in Best Supporting Actor because we saw The Fabelmans together.
We did see The Fabelmans.
We saw Judd Hirsch's performance.
I have not seen Causeway either, but I have seen Banshees.
Barry
Fabelmans.
Keoghan is really good, but Barry Keoghan has the one good scene nomination because that's the Best Supporting duality of it.
Mm-hmm.
There's the genuine supporting actor where they're like number 2 billed and they're right along with the best lead, and then there's Best Supporting Actor where like they really just have one phenomenal scene.
Yeah. I mean, he's present for the first half of the movie.
He is, but do you know what scene I'm talking about?
Oh, it's the scene with him and Carrie Condon
in the
lake.
lake. Yeah.
Where he's like, well, there goes that dream.
Yeah.
And it's an incredible scene. Because you're basically thinking about him as a joke character until that point.
Yeah.
Which is
and you realize he has feelings, emotions, and aspirations and stuff.
Yeah. I love that movie so
Brendan Gleeson's also really good. Judd Hirsch in The Fabelmans.
Oh my God, he's so good. What are you talking about? I watched The Fabelmans again last weekend.
I don't remember much of that movie.
We should watch it again.
I agree.
Let's break bread and watch The Fabelmans.
I agree. We should watch The Fabelmans again, only for the same reason I need to watch The Whale again. Because The Fabelmans is one that we walked out of and I wasn't crazy about, but you love The Fabelmans.
I was really enthused by it the first time. The second time, I full stop loved it.
So you're even more into
the second time I watched The Fabelmans, I was just like leaning back in my seat like, oh my God.
Watch The Whale again with me.
Yeah.
And I'll watch The Fabelmans again with you.
We'll do a double feature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I think we've covered it all.
Yeah. So folks, thank you for listening to our little micro episode. You might think, well, now we'll get Dickie Roberts next week. It's not the case.
Nope.
You gotta wait another week, folks, for Dickie Roberts. I know you're clamoring.
They're waiting.
There's fans like in the streets,
frothing at the mouth.
They're breaking down my door as they listen.
Give
to
us
this.
Dickie Roberts.
Yeah, they really want Dickie Roberts. But no, next week, folks, we got to talk about a little movie that kind of came in out of fucking nowhere, starring John Travolta, called Die Hard. An Amazon Prime original movie called Die Hard.
Well, it's not an Amazon.
We're gonna talk about it. Amazon Prime original movie called Die Hard, starring him and Kevin Hart, which we'll be covering next week on our show. We're going back to the Travolting days for that.
Yeah.
So make sure to tune in for that. In the meantime, please remember to rate, review, and subscribe on whatever platform you're listening on. As a reminder, we are available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and YouTube. Pop into our Reddit, r/Travolting. Find us on Twitter or Instagram at TravoltingPod. TravoltingPodcast@gmail.com if you have any pressing matters to email us about or hot tips about the careers of Brendan Fraser and John Travolta. Find me on Twitter at Jeff W. Sweeney.
You can find me on Instagram at StuartElmore95.
And as always, special thanks to Rebecca Johnson for our graphic design, Michael Van Bodegum-Smith for our theme music, and Ange Gardner for our social media. Have a great week, folks, and check in next week for Die Hard, and the week after for Dickie Roberts, former child star.
Brendan Fraser!